Hi guys, welcome to Charity's Bubble, your number one channel. I am here. I am here. Yesterday I wasn't able to record. I know I promised some people that I would answer some questions, but I was not able to due to unavoidable circumstances. But now I am here. I cannot fail to come online today because I'm gonna be very busy and the next 2 days. I'm here to answer your questions, but first of all I want to thank you, my subscribers, for subscribing to this channel. You guys are important to me. Like, you are awesome and very important to me, just for the support. Just even when you go and watch my video, you make a comment, you give it a thumbs up, you ask a question. I always appreciate that stuff. I really do appreciate. I also want to take this opportunity to welcome my new subscribers. I have seen some new subscribers have come in, and I know some more are gonna come in. So welcome to Charity's Bubble USA, your number one channel, guys. This is where we talk about how to immigrate to the US. You who has not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing, because like I said, we want to grow this channel. We want to grow this channel organically, whereby the more they are subscribing, the more I can see like my videos are being viewed, and the more I can see that people are liking my videos and they are making comments. That is my aim, guys. That is my aim, and I always appreciate when you watch my videos. I also appreciate you guys when you come to my live shows. I really do appreciate. Now, just an overview of myself. My name is Charity Nganga, and I live here in the US. I've been here for 7 years now. I'm a US citizen, and I came here with a DV lottery, and I've talked about, I'm trying to adjust my camera here just a little bit. I've stayed here now for 7 years, and I came here with a DV lottery. But when I came, I had no clue. Like, I did not have an idea what was a DV lottery, and actually I didn't know how to go about it. But through inquiring and through friendship, you know, my friend who applied for me the DV, because even when she was doing the application for me, actually I thought that it wasn't true, but we won in the first time, and then we helped each other, and then until we were able even to follow the instructions, and until we were able to come to the US. We came and lived in the US now for 7 years, and now we are US citizens. And I call myself a success story, because for the short time that I have lived in the US, I have done so much. My kids have grown. I have had other kids. So, and I have a very beautiful family. So I was like, I want to start something that I can enlighten people, especially those people who are who wish to come and live in the US, and especially those people who have no clue about the DV. And why I'm saying that some people do not even have a clue, I am still receiving messages just right now asking me where to apply for the DV. So that means that that person does not know when it started, or when it ended, or when it comes, or if it comes for a certain period or a certain season. So that is why I come here. I talk about the DV lottery. I talk about how you can do the application successfully. I talk about the mistakes. I talk about even how to fill out the form. Even the first form, the application, you find that sometimes people do not know so well about the photo. Others do not know so well about the mailing address. Others are not sure who should be included in the first application. So that is what I talk. I just make it easy for people, so that you can be able, when you watch the video, you can be able to do it for yourself, because like I said, after you have watched the video, and even their recommendations, when you go to travel.state.gov, because that is where I refer from, they normally encourage everyone who is doing this process of coming to the US to do it by themselves. You want to do it by yourself. You want to be able to know the steps. You want to be able to know, this is how I fill out the form, or this is the deadline, or this is what I am supposed to do. So that is what I do in this channel, guys. And today I want to answer some questions that have been asked by people. I've seen several questions, and I always take the questions very seriously. So I'm going to start with the first question here that I had been asked by one of my viewers, who said, let's see. My question is, I have a family, but due to lack of finances, I decided to relocate alone first then come for my family later. How many years will it take for me to petition for them? Now, when you win your DV lottery, and you have included your family, you find that everybody who was in that application has to go through the whole process. They have to go from the filling out of the DS-260, you put their information there and all that stuff. But you find that if you are not going to travel with them, you will indicate in your DS-260 that they will travel later. But you find that because you have to go with them to the American embassy, they will be given a visa. And that visa expires in 6 months. So you find that you must be able to, you will leave them, you will come, but you have to be able to have gotten them, you have to be able to have gone back home, or not going back home actually, just sending them fare so that they can rejoin you in the US before their visa expires. Because it's your family members, and it is not going to be a hardship, guys. Like I told you, when you come here and you have the right documentation, you have an opportunity to get a job very fast, to work, to settle, and within 3 months maybe you have an apartment, and then now you look for fare for them to come and immigrate in the US. So you have to be, because jobs are there, you have to be very active. And like I said, when you come here to live in the US, the first thing that you should do is that when you come into your host, because you must have a host, don't come with the mentality that you're coming here for a vacation. Come with the mentality that you're coming here to start a new life. So the first thing that you should do, go get your right paperwork. And then after you get your right paperwork, make sure that you get a job as soon as you can. When you get your temporary ID, and of course you have gone to the Social Security, the Social Security doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. Maybe it will take 7 to 10 business days, and you have your Social Security card. And then you go to look for a job, because most places they will ask you for a social, and then you can work. It doesn't matter even if you are going to work overtime jobs, but you have to be able to bring your family here before their visa expires. That's very, very important. And like I said, the process of the DV lottery, after you have won, it takes money. It takes a lot of money. And I said, when we won ours, I only had 2 kids and my husband, and our estimate budget from the first time we went to get our passports, because when we were doing our applications, they were not requiring passports at that time. If we counted every shilling from that time, it could add up to more than 800,000 Kenya shillings, close to 1 million Kenya shillings. So it's a lot of money, guys. And but you find that if you have gone up to the American embassy and you do not have the fare, it's okay. One person can come, but to get the fare to bring them here, it is not very hard. You will come here, you will work very hard, so that you make sure that within those 6 months of they are here in the US, so that you can start life together. So that's very important, and it's good to know about that, especially when you have a family. Now, I said that you cannot leave your family behind when you're doing the first application. So if you did not include them in the first application, that's an error, and that's something that could cause the consular to deny you the visa. So make sure, and like I said in my previous videos, that you must include all your family members. It doesn't matter, your kids, your step kids, your adopted kids, they have to be there. They have to be there, and you have to decide. So the whole process entirely, all the finances will be financed by you. You will not get any help from your host. You will not get any help from anybody here in the US. It is upon you to do it, and to get the money, and to bring your family here before their visas expire. Okay, now we have another one that was asked here. I have a question that I would like your honest opinion. What is the turnaround time for new immigrants to be able to break even with regards to working and saving money to invest back at home? Now, investing back at home is an individual, I would say, like, it's an individual choice, because some people choose to invest at home, others choose not to. So it depends on an individual, but it also depends on how hard you want to work. Because like I said, when you come in here, you are not going to get a job that will earn a lot of money. That is for sure. Even if you are a doctor, you're not gonna come from Africa and start practicing as a doctor direct. No, you have to go through a little bit of training, and you have to do a board exam so that you can have a license to practice. So it doesn't matter the profession that you are doing there. You will have to start low. You have to start somewhere low. It doesn't matter. Even if you are a professor, you have to start somewhere, because most jobs, especially most professional jobs, you have to have a permit to practice. Like, for example, like I tell you guys, I am a nurse, and I have a license to practice nursing in the US. Now, that license of mine, I have to renew it every 2 years. If I do not have a license, even if I went to nursing school and finished nursing school, and I did not do the board exam to get the license, then I cannot practice. So that means that if you are a nurse out there, or you're a doctor, or you're a pilot, or whatever you are, when you come here in the US, you have to be able to take an exam that is related to your career, so that you can get license to practice. And of course, for you to apply for those exams and whatever, it takes money. So you have to start for a low job, a low paying job, and then you climb to up. So you find that it doesn't matter, even if you get a job that they're paying you like from $15, $12, whatever, you find that you can work. You can even take 2 jobs. People come here, they take 2 jobs, they work very hard, but then they have a goal. They are like, maybe 3 years later, I will have done 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will not be doing this starting job, this low paying job. Because like I told you guys, if I tell you my first job, I was being paid $10 an hour before I went to school. But then after I went to school, I upgraded. And I still want to go back to school so that I can upgrade more. So the time that you will take for you to start, you, or to like to be okay or to be comfortable, it depends on how hard you want to work, because America gives you all the opportunities. It is upon you to go in there and do your best, because you can only do your best, and just work hard, because you have to work hard. Do not come here with a mentality that maybe you come, you find people, they are just where they started 30 years ago, that is where they are, and you join them. If you do that, you find that some people tend to drag others behind. And that's why I told you guys, it is always good to come here as an individual. You have your own mindset, because here in the US, there is nothing like a community. It's all about individualism. I normally say it's one man for himself and God for us all. So you have to be able to know, if it is a family that you have, then this is how you're going to manage your home with your spouse, because it is only you and your spouse, minus the people who are outside. Because you find that sometimes we find people here will tell you, oh, you can be working at these days, and maybe make sure that when you go to work, you tell them that you will be off on this day, so that maybe we can join together and we can eat and we can have parties. It is not bad. It is good to have a social life. It is good to go for parties. It is good even to go and eat goat. But at the back of your mind, remember that maybe those people were here before you, and maybe those people have done things that you do not know them. So you have to know that you're starting life, and you have to be able to know when it's okay to say no and when it's okay to say yes. Because like you find that, and coming from Africa, I know that this happens a lot, that we do not have the courage to say no. It takes a while, and it takes, I don't even know what I can say, guys, but before you find that an African telling you no, it takes time. But you find that you have to learn to do that. For me, at this moment, if I feel like I don't want to do something, I just tell someone I don't want to do it, and that's it. You know, it doesn't matter whether their feelings are hurt or not. But if I say no, it's a no. So you have to be able to say that, because there is a lot of peer influence. It happens a lot. You will find people who will tell you, do not be going to work at these weekends, because they are your friends and they want you guys to be meeting at that time. And maybe you are just starting life, and that person has been here, maybe they are working, they have a higher job than you. So you find that you have to know. So I cannot tell you the timeline. It always depends on an individual. It is like, for example, and I'm going to give an example of maybe going to Alliance High School in Nairobi, Kenya. If you go to Alliance High School, even if you are a top student, unless you continue working hard, you find that you will not put up with the other students if you lag behind. So the school is good. It's a good school. It's a national school. Or maybe Starehe Boys Center. It's a national school, but it depends on how hard you want to work there, guys. So I cannot say the timeline. I always say that it is individualist. It is individualistic, because you still find people who have been here 30 years, 40 years, and they are still where they started. You find that someone is still a CNA, and they have been here for a long time. So I'm not saying that CNA work is bad. It's good, but I also believe that upgrading is good. Upgrading is good. If I started in a rental house, then and I have a family, then my long-term goal would be like in 5 years I have my own home. You see, I'm paying my mortgage. I'm paying my mortgage to own the home. I'm not paying rent. You see what I mean? So those are some of the things that are individualistic. So I cannot say that there's a timeline. There is no timeline, guys. Some people take a long time. Some people take a short time. And especially the young people, because the young people come here, you find that some young people just come here and they get lost in all the stuff, because a lot is going on here, guys, you know. Unless you are able to say no, to have boundaries, to be focused, you will get lost. But if you have the mind to focus, you find that you will do great things in a very short time, and you will do good. You will do good because, like I told you, this country gives you a lot of opportunities that you can explore. So the sky is the limit. That's what I say. So I cannot give you a timeline there. So it depends on how you work hard. And look at what you're doing right now, wherever you are. In any part of the country, wherever you are, what you're doing, how hard are you giving it 110%, or are you doing like 50% and then you're tired? No, you have to be able to give everything 110% so that you can be able to succeed. So that's what that is how I can answer that question. It depends on an individual. Now let's see the other question. Now, if you include them in the initial application, they will be in your system plus supporting documents like birth certificate. Now, this one, it doesn't matter whether they were in the initial application. The visa you will get is for 6 months, and then after that, you have to bring them here so that they can start a new life with you. Okay. Now, and you know, I had even answered that one, and I said those are the rules. The DV lottery is the only visa that does not have so many hurdles, and it's good like to just follow whatever that they want, to follow their rules, to read from travel.state.gov. I always mention travel.state.gov because I know if you read that keenly, you will be able to know what to do. If you watch my video, I go there and I read their information. You find that there are some people who watch the videos, but they watch the video for 5 minutes and then they don't go on. You find that I have researched, I have looked, I have seen. These are some things that some of these things have gone through. So when I come here to tell you, you can listen to my video, ask me a question, and also you can also go and verify from travel.state.gov. So that's how it is. Now, okay, I read, there's another question. I read on the net, USA colleges and universities are very expensive. So my next question is, if you have kids, what level of education will you start paying fees? And can they easily get scholarships? And then, how is gun violence in the USA? Do people walk on the streets expecting gun shootings anytime, anywhere? Oh my gosh. Let me laugh at this one. Now, let me talk about schools. Now, primary schools. We have government schools and we have private schools, and I know I talked about this this one, but I'm just going to talk about it because it's a question, and I don't get tired of answering anybody's questions. Now, the government schools, you only pay a little bit of money, not much, just a little bit. Just it's a little bit. I would say it's a little bit. And of course, yeah, if you, depending on your income, you can pay for them lunch. And if your income is low, there's a form that you can fill out and you can get free lunch for your kids, or reduced lunch. Actually, it's called reduced lunch because you just pay a little bit of money. If you choose to take your kids to a private school, that one you'll have to pay school fees. You'll have to pay school fees for your children. So that's primary level. Now, when they go to college, they must pay college. But like I said, if you're here as a permanent resident, you can apply for financial aid. You can apply for financial aid and use the financial aid to go to school. And if it is not enough, there is always a loan on the financial aid that you can take, but you will repay later. So that is how the system goes. And it is not hard. For people to go to school, it is not hard because there is a timeline, and also even the loan, you can tell them this is how I am going to be able to pay the loan, depending on the income that you're getting after you finish the course that you're doing, and of course depending on your family. I told you here, everything that you do depends on the income that you're getting, and the family size. So it's very easy. Now, about gun violence and about gun shootings, you do not, it's this place is a very safe area. It's just like the way you can walk in the streets in somewhere in Africa, and maybe you find people who just want to do bad things, people who just want violence, and they want to use guns. But you find that this is, I would say that this is the safest place that you can walk even in the middle of the night and nobody is gonna ask you. So when we talk about gun violence, I would say that those are isolated cases. They happen because, of course, I cannot say that they don't happen, because social media is there, and you know, social media does not lie. But you find that this is US is one of the safest places that you can walk around and nobody is gonna ask you. Of course, maybe there are some places that are not that safe, but I haven't gone there, so I cannot talk about there. But I would say that even if I walked from my house right now to go maybe like walk for like 30 minutes and come back to the house, right now it's 7 or 8 p.m., nobody will ask me. Nobody is going to ask me. So this is the safest place, but there are those isolated cases that happen. And you know, everywhere there is crime, and everywhere there will always be bad people somewhere. So those isolated cases are there. So you do not expect people like to be in danger when you are walking around. No, those are just isolated cases that are there, and they can be found anywhere else in the world. Now, hi Charity, my question is, if you applied for jobs in the US and you became a successful candidate, you get a job. If come May 2022 you win a green card and you are in the US, will you be forced to come back in Kenya and start a green card process, or you can do it in the US? I said when you win a green card, when you are in the US, you just contact your nearest immigration office, and then they will tell you what to do. They will tell you what to do. Okay, but it's good when you are in status. Do not, I always say that you do not violate your visa. Violating your visa means that the visa that you are given, you came here, you are supposed to go home at a certain time and you refused, and you did not go to ask for an extension. So you can, when you win your DV lottery and you're here in the US or under another visa that you have not violated, just contact the nearest USCIS office, and they're going to tell you what to do, because you are already in the US. That's a different case. Now this one is just so David Dashner is just saying that I had talked about it. Yes, I had. And guys, I need you to be going and just watching the videos before you come and ask a question. All right. That question was answered. So there's another person, whatever. So elementary school, it's free. It's not entirely like free of charge. Of course, you pay a little bit, not much, but just a little bit. It's just like, I'll say it's just like pocket change. When you come here, you will understand what I mean by that. It's not much. It's just a little bit that you pay. And also, if you do not have any, you just submit your whatever your household income. If it's too little, they will sometimes they will not charge you, but it's just a little bit that you have to pay. Now, hi Ma'am Charity, please help what is Form I-34 affidavit of support for what? Now, if you an affidavit of support, it's for example, I had talked about the marriage, green card by marriage, and I had said that when you are getting a green card by marriage, the person who is marrying you here in the US has to file an affidavit. An affidavit of support. That means that they are willing to help you out, in case to bail you out in anything that will happen to you. That will happen to you. For example, if you had debt, if you had anything, they will file that Form I-34 so that they can help you with that. They can help you with that. So that is just a form. So if they tell you that you need the Form I-34, it is an affidavit support. You use this form to sponsor a visa applicant, and show that they will not become a public charge. That means that you are able to support them financially in case of anything. That's a Form I-134. And for sure, when you're marrying someone, when you're a US citizen or a legal permanent resident, you must fill out that one. But in the case of DV lottery, you do not need affidavit of support for anything, because that's a lottery that you have won, and they will give you the visa, and they will give you permission to come to work. And of course, you will have to tell them that you have a host who is going to host you when you come to live in the US. Okay, so that's a very good question there. Okay, now this one, maybe they started it from the host, but you find that as when we were hosted, we weren't asked for such stuff. We weren't asked for such stuff. So a DV lottery is an isolated case. It's an isolated case because they know that when you are coming here to live in the US, you are coming here to work. But if you are coming here for something else, maybe it's a B1, B2 visitor, and you are coming to live at someone's house, of course, they will ask you for an affidavit of support. Why? Because they will want to know, what is your household income? How many people do you have in your house? Are you able to host an extra person and be able to support them? Because they are coming here as a visitor. So that means that a visitor will not be able to work. So that is when they ask you for that money, okay? For that support, you just give them a bank statement or whatever, savings, whatever, and they look through that. Or maybe you give them your pay stubs, and they look through that. They see this person is able to host this visitor for this time, and that's it. That's all that you do. Okay. Now, thank you. Is it an additional requirement when going for the interview? Not for the DV lottery. For the other visas, yes, but not for the DV lottery. And I'm gonna go back and look at that, because people have been asking about that, and I know unless they change it, when you come here with a DV lottery, you do not require that. You don't require that. You do not require that. Now, there's this other one called Barack from East African. Thank you for joining us here. Okay. No, I don't think it's a must. I don't think it's a must. It's just, sometimes I will not even ask you for it. You can carry it if you want to, if you feel comfortable to whatever. But you find that the DV lottery interview only takes less than 3 minutes. Because if you have filled out your DS-260 properly, and you have done everything to the T, they will not have any suspicions, because they know that when you come here, you are coming here and you are getting the right paperwork, you will be able to work. You will be able to work. So that one is you can have it if you want to, but most of the time they are not going to ask you for that. Okay. The last question here. Hi Charity, I have a question. My friend's passport at place of birth is spelled Mombasa instead of Mombasa. Kame if selected when filling. This is Wamaida Nyawera. I like to mention the names that I know, but the other names, some people are there, but they give a different stuff. It's not a name. I can tell whether it's a nickname, but some people just give their real names, and it's good to be real. It's good to be real. So this one is called Wamaida Nyawera. Hi Charity, I have a question. My friend's passport at place of birth is misspelled as Mombasa instead of Mombasa. Kame is selected while filling the DS-260. Does she have to have a new passport with the correct spelling? No, she doesn't. She doesn't need to have a new passport because that's just, that's just an error, and that's not your name. That is Mombasa. So they will see that that was that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. What is always a big deal is a misspelled name. What is also always a big deal is a wrong number for the passport, a wrong date of birth. Those are issues. But the others they are not a very big deal. They are not a very big deal. Now, let me see. Oh, that one is not there. If sometimes I'm looking at my YouTube channel. Now, if you make a bad comment, like you make a comment that is inappropriate, I've set my YouTube channel in a way that it deletes it. So it's always good when you're asking something, ask something that is appropriate, because I tell myself as an appropriate person. There's no way that I am going to come here online and say something that's inappropriate. So even my YouTube channel, I've set it in a way, even if someone wants to post something that is inappropriate, it doesn't read in my channel. So that one, I don't know what they were asking me, but it's gone. It's gone, so I cannot see that one, guys. So they said the other one who was saying I provide them. May I get no visa diversity program very late? Maybe I was not able to apply, but I missed the date. Any other options for this map? This is Vafi and Sari. Now this one, there are some other visas that I talked about. I talked about the C1D visa. I also talked about the B1B2 visa. And I also talked about the student visa. And I'm going to talk about another one here in a little bit. Okay. So Nida Ansari, I need you to go to my YouTube channel and scroll through the videos. You go to the tab for videos. You will find all the videos there for the B1, B2 visa. There's the one for the student visa. There's the one for the C1D visa. I've talked about those ones. Go watch those videos and you will get more information from there. Okay, now let's see. Now this one is just giving me a compliment on how I embrace my hubby and bring him in the show. Yeah, for me, you know, like when you, it's good to embrace, and that's why you see the t-shirt that I'm wearing. We rise by lifting up others. So do not always, you know, there's some people who put their family behind them. They do not want them to be known. Me, I don't have a problem with that. Like, you know, I always believe that everybody deserves a place in the dining table. So everybody is important. And I feel like feedback from my husband, if he comes to the show, he has another way of looking at things than the way I look at things. So he still adds value to my channel. So thank you for that. Now, how many times, Juliet Nyawera is asking me, how many times did you apply to win the green card? I only applied once. I was lucky. I only applied once, and I thank God for that, because I only did once. And actually, I didn't have don't know so many information, but I got it, guys. So just once. And like I told you, have faith. It's good to have faith, because when you have faith, things happen. Things happen, and they just come out. So let's see if there's another one. I talked about the link. Okay, now please, after your contract ends, can you stay in the country and work? Now, if you come here to work under a contract, if it's 1 year, whatever years, the time that that contract ends, it is always important to go back home. If you do not want to go back home, then change your visa to something different. Become a student, look for a college and go to college. But do not violate your visa. Do not violate your visa. Because if you violate your visa, you will find that you will stay here forever and you will never go back home. Because when you go back home, you can never come back. And that's how we get to know people. You find that here there are some people, if you have the right documentation, you can go home, come back, go home, come back. Nobody is going to ask you when you're a legal permanent resident, when you're a U.S. citizen, when you're married to a U.S. citizen, when you're married to a U.S. legal permanent resident, when you have a student visa. You can go home and come back. When you have a contract, you can go home and come back. But you find that if you came here with a different type of visa, it doesn't matter which one you came with. Maybe you came with a student visa and then you decided not to go back to school. So you violated your visa. So you cannot go back home, because if you go back home, then you will not be allowed to come back. Or maybe you came here as a visitor and you stayed for 5 years, and then 5 years were gone, and you decided that you are not going to go back home. The disadvantage is only that you cannot go back, because if you go back, they are not going to allow you to come in again, because that's a violation. And that is how you get to know people who have the right papers and who do not have the right documents. You know, that's how, you know, that's, you know, someone was just like open and told me that's how you know. That's how you know. You can maybe decide not to go home by choice. Like me, I've never gone home. It's been 7 years. It's not because I don't have papers, but it's because my kids are small. They're little, and I feel like I want to bring them up until maybe they're like 5 years so that I can travel. Because my experience, when I traveled with the plane, I didn't have a very good experience. I just had a bad experience. I didn't like it. So if I didn't like it and I am an adult, so I feel like maybe my 2-year-old, how am I going to survive with her in the plane? So I just want her to grow just a little bit more. So that when even she can be able to sit down for those hours. They are long hours. The plane takes very long, because to fly from the US to Britain, that is 8 hours. And then maybe there's a layover of like, I don't know how many hours, maybe 7 hours, waiting for the time or waiting for the plane. And then and then you board the plane from Britain to come to Kenya. It's another 8 hours. So those are long hours, especially for my baby. And I know I've had, sometimes we have had like road trips, and I've seen like my young kids, they don't take very well when they sit alone for a long time. So I feel like I still need to give them some time to grow a little bit more before I travel, before I take such, a long journey. But you find that there are some people, they have never even seen their family members, they have never even been able to see their kids, you know. Some they left their wives like 20 years ago, they have never seen them. You know, that is sad. That is very sad. So for me, you know, I cannot judge. I cannot sit here and judge anybody, because it's not that I'm too special and God chose me maybe to have a green card or whatever, and he did not give other people. But what I know is that there can be a lot of anguish if you stay, you have not seen your family members, you have not seen your kids. Maybe your kids, you haven't seen the milestones that your kids have taken when they are growing up. So even if maybe you go back, some of them, you find that even someone has stayed for a long time and they go back when they are dead, you know. So it's sad. For me, it's sad. And that's why I say, if I was me, and I always say that I say this statement, and I don't say this statement because I'm a US citizen. I say this statement because I am me, and I know what I feel about our family, and I know how I feel about my children, and I know what I feel about everything, because I know no money in this world can change my family members or my kids. So I would be so sad if I had to stay in a foreign country without the right paperwork. Even if I have to provide for them a good life or whatever, and they do not know me personally, I would feel so sad. So that's why I normally say it's good when you have that visa, do not violate it. You can always go back home, and then you go and ask again, because if you have not violated your visa, they will always give you a visa. They are fair. They are very fair. It's only that the African the myth that the consulars are bad or whatever. No, if even something like giving visas, they normally know, like, this person we are going to give them a visa, this one we are going to give them this one. They know in the morning who is going to get the visa and who is not going to get it. So it doesn't mean that person looked at you and they did not like you, that's why they didn't give you your visa. No, unless maybe you go there and you do something, you know, that is deliberate, that will make the whatever, the consular, if they wanted to give you the visa, but they did not give you, maybe you gave a wrong information, not related to what you wrote in your form, DS-160 or DS-260. Those are isolated cases. But you find that, for me, what I say is that it's good when you are invited, you come, and then after you have come and you have done whatever that you are doing, you go back, if it's a contract that you had for a job, because if you do not have the right paperwork again, and you will not be hired like a job that is well rewarding. Because the first thing that they will ask from you is a social security card. If you do not have that, nobody is going to hire you. So if someone decides that they are going to hire you as a babysitter, or they are going to hire you as whatever, you know, any other job that they can give you, and maybe they decide that they are going to hire you whatever under the table, they are not going to pay you the money that that are good, you know, like someone who is legal gets all that money. Because you find that when you're hired legally, when you have the right paperwork, you are able to pay for your social security, you are able to have all that money that you have earned the whole year, you are able to pay taxes, because you have to file your taxes so you are a good citizen who is working, they are paying taxes, and they are able to file their taxes, and also you're getting social security. Social security is very important when you grow old, because you won't be able to work. So if you end up in a nursing home or wherever you end up in, or you decide you want to go back home and grow old there and die there, you'll have this little bit of money that will be coming at the end of the month, and it will be helpful. So that is how I see it. That's my opinion. And I always like to say what I feel is right for me. So that's why I'm saying, if you come here under contract and you do your job, it's always good to go back home. And then when you go back home, then you can reapply again. If you are doing a good job, they will recall you, and then you can go back and work. So guys, I think that I have answered all your questions, and until next time, I'm going to do another video here in a little bit. Until next time, thank you and God bless you. Stay safe and keep it. Charities Bible USA.